The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stavry Nikolov. I'm the founding director of Digital Spaces Living Lab, which is one of the WEA consortium partners. First, I would like to thank you for joining this webinar. I hope it will be a very interesting one. I'll make 2 or 3 very brief announcements, especially for Open Call 1 teams. Perhaps you have received already some information and by email asking you to think about follow-on support after the end of the 6-month WEA sustain support and funding, and a questionnaire that hopefully you have also received. So I would like to ask you, if possible, to fill in this questionnaire and to upload it together with your January monthly report. This webinar will be video recorded, so we will make it available shortly, in a few days after the webinar, on the YouTube WEA channel, so every one of you can see there. So next thing I would like to do is, with great pleasure, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, and this is Sylvia Zancarli. Thank you, Sylvia, for agreeing to do this webinar. Sylvia Zancarli graduated in business administration with a major in strategy and marketing, and she has been working for several years in companies and media agencies where she reached the position of strategy director. She has been a course leader for 7 years for the BAH Fashion Marketing and Communication held at the Istituto Europeo di Design in Milan and validated by the University of Westminster. And she is now a business consultant and an expert in crowdfunding, having worked with Ulule, Europe's biggest reward-based crowdfunding platform. Thank you, Sylvia, for agreeing to do this webinar. The main purpose of this webinar is actually to try to tell you a little bit about the different options you have in terms of crowdfunding and which may be best for you. And also to learn about the practical aspects of preparing a crowdfunding campaign and running an efficient and effective one. So thank you very much, and it's over to you, Sylvia.
Thank you very much for having me. And here I start my presentation of crowdfunding. The presentation is mostly thought for reward-based crowdfunding, less for equity and all the other two of crowdfunding. But let's see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what is crowdfunding in general? Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or a venture by raising many small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically through the internet. So the key here is not that I don't have a very big investor, but I have many people giving a little bit of their money to our idea. There are 4 main typologies of crowdfunding. One is simply donation based. It's 100% for donation. So you simply want to fund some research or on certain illnesses, and you don't get anything in return except for, of course, your own happiness on having done that. Reward-based crowdfunding, you don't sell your project, you sell the products related to your project. So you have rewards that are related to the project. In this case, it's a very general definition, because in reward-based crowdfunding, you can also have theatrical plays. So that's why I say rewards are related to the project. In your case, possibly in all of your case, the rewards are the product itself you are developing. So people are not making an investment on your venture or a financial retribution. They are buying a reward. Equity based, on the other hand, is I put on stake my company. So not necessarily my product, my company. So people who are backing me become shareholders. So all the preparation, that's why I'm telling this presentation is about reward-based because all the preparation of the material is very much different in an equity-based crowdfunding. You need to have a business plan attached on your pitch. In reward-based, you have to have it for yourself, but it's not necessary to show the public. Lending-based, it's microcredits among individuals. This is, for example, it is very funny to know that in Italy is the biggest crowdfunding typology existing. So there are a huge number of people who are lending money one with the other without a bank in between. There are a few myths about crowdfunding that I would like to tell that it's not entirely true. So one thing is that it just works. So if I pick the right platform, I just put my project there and wow, I can sip cocktails all day because people will keep on giving me money. Well, that's not exactly how it works, and we will see that. The other thing is that I'll put my project on Kickstarter, let's say, because I'm getting a whole new bunch of customer that I didn't have before. I'm definitely expanding. We will see that the first people who are backing you also on a crowdfunding platform are people that you actually know in one way or the other. So why would you, should you crowdfund your project? It's not necessarily only because you have to raise money. You can also think about crowdfunding as a communication activity that you can have. So one way is to test the project, or to test your concept, because you believe it's amazing. You believe the way you're telling it's fantastic, but people maybe they don't get it. Or you test the market. You perceive you have an amazing need for what you're thinking is the perfect product, but while you test properly towards an audience, then it doesn't work. In a way, you widen and engage your community, you start building your social relations, and this is quite important. You will try to find money through a different channel, of course, and easy and quick fund solution. Other reasons why you can do this are also because you want to show your future investor that there is a market for your project. So if you crowdfund it and you successfully crowdfund it, then you show to your investor that, hey, it's not only theoretical, it's practical. There are people interested in my product. So please join me and give me money to become a bigger company or to do it better. The backers can be divided into three main typologies. One is the closest circle of people around you. So your dear ones, your family, your friends, your close contacts. Most of them accounts for at least, we will see after, but it's at least sometimes up to 40% of the funding. And also, you can also say that if they don't believe in your idea, well, it's quite hard that a random stranger might believe in that idea. Then you have a community. This community can be fans or friends of friends. These are the people you would like to activate, because if you activate them, you can reach the random strangers. The third one is exactly those ones, the people you never had an idea they existed before. They are people who are on specific crowdfunding portals. They are fan of the portals, so therefore they check new ideas and maybe they would like to check out yours as well. Or you can find them on social media simply because you advertise your campaign. The rewards or perks, according to the different platform, they are called in different ways. On Indiegogo, they're called perks. On Kickstarter, they are called rewards. They are something that is connected to the project. So in your case, possibly the product itself that you are developing. But you can also have different type of rewards up to your product. So they can be also, let's say, small iPhone covers or something like that, that simply have the logo of your, I'm just saying random things, the logo of your product, or something very much more related to that. There are two main typologies of crowdfunding. One, and it's the mostly used on the platform, is all or nothing, meaning that if you set a goal to crowdfund 10,000 euros, pounds, or whatever, dollars, whatever is the currency, either you reach that or you don't get a thing. This is usually done because if you set a goal at 10,000, it means that you have thought about it, and you think that 10,000 is the right amount you have to source in order to start your production, to do the things you have in mind. If you raise half of it or a quarter of it, you might not even have the funds to do the next step. So that's why they do it. Take it all. For example, on Indiegogo, you can have the options of take it all. So if you set your goal for 10,000 and you get 7,000, you can say, okay, I want them all in any case because I still need those money. Of course, the difference here will be the percentage the portal will keep for themselves. In all or nothing is around 5% plus commissions from PayPal, etc., etc. On Take It All is 9% plus those other commissions. So let's go to the main topic, which is the project, your project, the one you want to raise awareness and money for. A great project is usually made of three main aspects. One, that you have a great, beautiful story to tell. So again, it's all communication plays a very big part of all of it. The other one is that you as a project maker, you are quite committed. You're very much involved in everything it's done, and you show your face to back up your idea. And then a very specific project or product. Okay, so technically, usually, most of the platforms don't accept projects at a very early stage. At least you have to be able to provide mockups, because otherwise it's all, oh, I'd like to do something like that, but you don't know exactly what you have to do. So this is usually very hard to be backed on a mere and simple idea, but yours is not the case because you're on Where Sustain. So you definitely will end up at least with a prototype and possibly ready for market. You can have two types of objectives. One could be money related. So as we were saying before, I would like to raise 10,000. The other one is I would like to sell 100 pieces of my product. Those things imply different approaches towards rewarding. In the money-related one, you have to have some rewards for people to back you with a little amount of money up to a very high amount of money. Whereas on a number of pieces, usually you have just one reward, which is the product. The financial, how do you set your financial objective? This is one of the hardest things to do. As you say, as we see down, these are the statistics on Ulul, the European platform. Usually the funded projects get 3,500 with an average of 70 bakers. Of course, we want more than that, definitely. But still, it is an hard work, as we will see, in order to get this kind of money. Your objective has to fix at the minimum threshold, so you have to count all the single voices, all the single costs you have, add them up, but then keep it at a lower level. You can always overcome your financial objective, the one that you set. But the point with all or nothing platforms is that it's better to reach it and then overcome than not to reach it at all. According to customers already existence, you can have a better estimate, because if you know that they are willing to participate, maybe you want to go a little bit higher. It needs to include everything. So the cost of the rewards, the commission of the crowdfunding portal, some specific taxes you have to pay, and those taxes, I'm not a tax expert, but those taxes varies according to each single country. So you need to be very clear that what you get, it's the overall money, but then you have to deduce a lot of costs out of it. So be sure that you pay at least what you wanted to pay, so producing your products. It can represent a part, not all of the project budget, and it might or it might not include the expedition costs, because you might say, okay, within my own country it's included because I have a deal with expeditioner. Or you might say, but you might say, okay, if they buy in China, possibly I have to make them pay for the expedition. Or you say, I'm not exporting there for many reasons, but one of it is the enormous cost for the delivery of your project. So all these things needs to be taken into consideration very, very carefully. The duration. Another thing that is quite important is to fix the right duration. As we will see, all the campaigns in crowdfunding have a specific form, meaning that they usually have a shape of an U, the letter U. So you have a lot of funding at the beginning, a lot of funding towards the end, but in the middle of the duration of your campaign, you might have lesser and definitely lesser bakers. So the longer the campaign they are, the more you have the risk of people saying, "Oh, I can do it later," or "I'll do it tomorrow." And this is not good. If people are ready to to give you money to back up your idea, better before than after, because when you do it at the very beginning, then they can also share on their social media and they can attract other people. If they do it the last day, then of course that's how it goes. So a good campaign is a campaign where in the launch, so the launch is quite crucial. In the launch phase, you will have 20 to 30% of the overall amount of money. This is quite important for many reasons. One, because you get momentum, you get a lot of buzz around your project, and so maybe you're ready to get more. The end, it's the last 20%, but sometimes be ready to think that you also have to have a little budget to invest on your own campaign, because if you arrive at 96% and you need just 400 euros, otherwise you lose all the 9,600, be prepared to put yourself those 400 euros in order to get all the rest if needed. In any case, you got a lot of visibility in terms of communication if you access properly. Community. So one of the things you have to do before even start thinking of doing a crowdfunding campaign is to build up a community of people around your project or around yourself as a person, better around your project, because the more people you are in touch with, the bigger the possibility that one of them will be converted into one of your baker. So it's important that you make them help you spread the word, and some of them, they can also become your ambassadors, and this is quite important for us. How do we put, then this part is about of what do we have practically to put on the portal, because everything I've just said, it's very theoretical. I mean, what you have to do before doing those kind of things, what you have to think about, how does crowdfunding work, but specifically in practice, what you have to do. So some tips and tricks on preparing your campaign really to upload on a portal is that you have to have short and catchy text. I don't know if you ever backs up a crowdfunding campaign, but most of the time when you browse into a crowdfunding portal is the ones that capture your attention. How is your attention captured? Through images, videos, short and catchy text, structured paragraphs. So if you have to say a lot of things, at least try to underline that those are the different elements. And the other thing is that you have to have very clear rewards on your campaign. The title and the subtitle need to be very clear. You have to use very little words, but still those words need to be clearly explaining what you are doing. So what is the project identity? Those few words should help you in search engine optimization. So sometimes repetition of words or specific concepts, or for example, wearable technologies, those are words that probably needs to be there in order to then appear into the natural search of Google. Needs to be very simple and the easiest to remind also. So try to become your own copywriter, or find the friends who writes best, who is the best writer that you know, and ask him or her to help you to do that. Try not to please people. Try not to use words such as help me, this is a project, this is a venture. Use words that are more in line with the specific project itself. So be careful on being precise. All these suggestions are said because you would like to attract also not people who don't know you. So we said the last 60%, because the first 40%, your friends, your family, mommy, daddy, granny, sister, brother, etc. Those people, they will give you money regardless, no, possibly. I mean, they want to support you full stop because it's you. It's the other people that of course need to understand very, very clearly what you're talking about, and maybe being convinced because of those things. So for example, here we have an example on Indiegogo. Okay, those people wanted to get $100,000 and they got up to 2 million. It's not always like that, those are the best case histories, but it's not always like that. And sometimes it's not even the best way, because one thing is to be ready as a company, as a venture, to prepare material for $100,000 or euros or pounds or whatever it is. Another thing is for 2 million is a different scale. Maybe you are not even ready. Okay, but still is a nice problem to have sometimes. In this one, I think is quite well done. Now, the first smart home security device for everyone. It's quite clear. it's very few words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you almost understand what it's all about. Then you have the subtitle, which is Canary is a simple device packed with small sensors that empowers you to keep your home safe and secure, control through your mobile device. It's just 3 lines, but basically you understand. And then you see this also this beautiful picture that you don't get how it works, but you say it might be looking good in my house regardless. Or we have the next one, which is Misfit Shine. So it's an activity tracker that you wear it on yourself. So gorgeous all metal construction, tiny so you can wear anywhere. Truck cycling, swimming, not just steps. To sink, just lay on the phone. That's it. It's very easy. They do one thing, and this thing, it's very, very clear. The main image, also the main image is your window towards your word. So be careful, be sure that it clearly represent what you want to say. It needs to be a good quality, and it needs to be very clear. The image needs to be representative and very simple. For example, we have here disrupting wearable charging cable bracelet. I think it's very carefully thought, the fact that it looks cool, and this guy also has tattoo on his end, so it's quite contemporary, no? So it says something that is quite clear. It needs to be this way. About the video. The video is usually mandatory on most of the photos, and it's a very specific typology of video. Many people tend to use the video they have prepared to show in their project, and they upload on the crowdfunding portal. That's not working. The video needs to be very specific. You can use frames of the video you already have, but at the end or the beginning or somewhere, you have to put your face inside, or the face of the entire team, and say something to say, now it's time that you contribute, now it's time that you back my project. Please go on in go Kickstarter and do it, or check the perks, check the rewards in order to have it immediately. So you have to do a call for action. Cannot be just, oh, this just an advertising type of video. Cannot be like that. So you have to say exactly what it's your project about. It cannot be so long, because you have to imagine that it's true that some people might watch it through personal computer, but many people are looking at it through their mobile phone. So even 3 minutes, it's a lot if I'm watching it while I'm on the tube, on the subway. The aesthetic needs to be very representative. It needs to be in line with what you're doing also on the portal, okay? And it has to show commitment. So the best video help having a 20% chance, bigger chance of success on the crowdfunding campaign. So you might want to do it properly. Some people go for a professional video. Some other people like also this idea of making yourself. That's not the issue. The issue is it depends on your product, of course. So sometimes this idea of it being artisanal helps. Sometimes you just want it to be extremely professional. It's up to your own project to how to do it. In any case, you have to do it very, very well. Those videos that you can see here are interesting. For example, this one has been just funded, so on mid-January 2019, some few days ago, and I found these videos because I think that they're very clear. And for example, these guys were from Cordoba in Spain, so they had they hired a professional speaker, American speaker here, because it's clear he doesn't sound very much Spanish when he talks, which is a decision, of course. Also, this thing is important. You want to add subtitles or not, it depends the language you're doing in it. If you're doing it in English, possibly it's fine, but if your main market is another one, if you're doing for Germany and then you want also to go to English speaking, you have to be careful where the majority of your bakers are. So this one is a nice project because it's about a t-shirt that can either warm you up or cool you. So it's very nice because you might want to take a look at that. This one is another interesting thing that has been funded, well, 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, and this one is the video is very interesting, so you can check it. But it's about a hoodie that with this wearable technology, it will ease the pain on your back simply by warming it up in a certain way and enabling a little massage as well. So I think it's those are interesting to see, because maybe it's the language you want to use. In any case, before preparing your campaign, it's better to take a look at many of these videos, and especially both in two different ways. One, it's very successful videos, I mean very well done videos, to see if you like certain videos that are very well done, you want to replicate. And another way is how to make video in your specific category, because this is also interesting. So wearable technology, but fashionable wearable technology. So it's interesting where you wanted to go more towards the technology or to the fashion aspects. It depends. It depends, of course, on your specific project. Some portals, for example, this is an example on Ulule, do have also background images under the project description. Also, in this case, be sure that the image you choose, it's an interesting and consistent with the same aesthetic one, and it works and it enhances what you're saying. The text, beside the 5W, now who, what, where, when, and why, which is important to address, okay, then it's interesting to show the personal level. Okay, so what are your specific motivations? What are how do you think you're going to develop that? How are your challenges for this product? Because it makes the project maker a little bit more like a person and not just a product there without anybody doing it. The other thing that you always have to do, and it's always better to do, so try to use the best infographic you want. In this case, it's quite disgusting because it's a mere triangle, but you can do definitely better than that. My skills in graphic are not that amazing. And having said that, it's better to have all the specific expenses reported there. So everything you need to you will do with the money you get. Okay, so you have to pay the portal, you have to pay for some communication, you have to pay for an event, you have to pay for whatever you have to pay. Just put it there, because if I'm backing you and I don't know you, but I like your idea, the more transparent you are towards me, the more money possibly am I willing to give you, or I might want to talk about you to other people, because you'll become credible. You're building a trusting environment. On this specific thing, I was discussing with a team yesterday about can I ask money on my specific website? So why do I have to go through a portal? That was the question. You have to go through a portal simply because they are trusted. I'm sure you're the most earnest and credible and loving people in the whole world, but I don't know you. It's quite difficult that I'm giving you 10 euros because I like the project itself. Whereas if you're on a structured platform, I say, okay, I'm giving 10 years. If the project is not going to be funded, those 10 years are back to me. And I'll trust the environment because I know in this case, they're going to do good use of my money. Again, we have to talk about who's behind this project. Usually, a team has, again, 20% more possibilities to raise more money than a single person. Why? Because there's more people working. Okay, there's no secret formula here. Simply, there's more people working, and when you do a new project venture or a new startup company, then possibly you're not working full-time on that because you also have to pay your rent. So the more people you are, the more you can work on video communication or what else. So if you can become the face of this project, it's also better. If I can relate to these things, for example, there was a project where they were doing a bracelet for motorbiker, and when they described the team, these people, they described the team, and each of them were photographed on their own motorbike and with the model saying, why do I use this specific one? What do I love most on motorbikes? Because if that was their target, and that's the idea where the idea came from, that community, it's nice that you acknowledge this community and you say, I'm part of this community. It's not just a random idea. I love this kind of things and I'm part of it. So it shows commitment again. Then of course you have to link with all the possible social that you have, and in order not to lose, so people can arrive to your portal page or to your project page through many different ways. One can be also social media. The rewards building is quite tricky because most of the time we tend to either overdo, making a lot of things there, and you know that usually when we do have too many choices, we are unable to choose eventually. So it's better to have 5 to 6 rewards, very clear, that they should be, of course, consistent with the project. Sometimes they can be exclusive. We will see about that. Don't make it too expensive. So if you're doing a t-shirt that usually on the market can cost 80 to 120 and you put it 250, it's quite hard that you can get your money for that. So try to be generous, because we say that one of your objectives for being on a crowdfunding portal or to do crowdfunding is also to be known, to become known, to communicate more towards your audience. Usually the rewards are the people who are closer to you, they give you more money, around 50 euros each. The people who know you, they are the second ones that can give money, so it's around 25 euros each. And then you have a lot of different typology of money given. Use a good gap between the different perks. So don't go from 0 to 100, because from 5 to 100, because possibly you have people that want to give you 10, but they don't want to go the full scale on 200. So be careful on the steps you put it there. Never put €1 reward or $1, £1, etc. Because if you can give me 1, you can give me 5. Okay, so make it the smaller, make it at 5 at least. if you do some limited edition or some scarce rewards that I don't know, the first 15 of these things will be in blue, let's say, or there's a special prize for the first 20 products sold. If you buy them within 24 hours, you will get this specific prize, or exactly specifically designed for other things that could help in order to have a good response on that. They need to always, even the smallest perk that you have, the smaller reward that you have, needs to in a way be related to what you're doing. So try to find also a way to reward positively also the people who gave you a little money. Some people decide to reveal certain rewards after the beginning of the campaign. That is also a nice idea to keep the campaign moving, to keep the something going on during the 40 days, 30 days, or 60 days of your campaigns. For example, in this case, you will see that these people were selling a specific beer, but they say, if you're giving me enough money, I will give you also a tasting of the brewery, or you can come and brew one beer together with us. Maybe you're not doing it, but it's nice to say, wow, I can participate. Maybe you can't do it because a trip to Paris is way more expensive than that, or if you live there, not. But still, it's nice to know that you're opening the doors of your company for me. Let's go fast on the communication side. Preparing a campaign takes usually from 2 to 3 months before starting. Okay, then you add the days of the campaign. So you have to start to do things before, do things during, and do things after of the campaign. So before our campaign, we have to try and attract, inform, interest our own community. So we need to understand which are the most interesting contacts that we have, that they can become ambassadors of our campaign. We might want to identify some media, maybe specialized media or local media, and prepare a press release and decide when to send this one, whereas before the campaign or during the campaign, because when I already reached the 40% of funding of my campaign, possibly is the right moment to go to them. Create social accounts, but also I can try to find communities within social media, maybe, I don't know, yoga lovers, and I'm doing something towards yoga, and those communities could be very good for us to sustain your specific campaigns, because they know what it is about and they want to do those kind of things. Then you have to prepare all the communication material, meaning properly all the project material, visual identity, graphics, all the text needs to be ready. You need to prepare all your MailChimp mails already ready, possibly the text for the news, and the first post on Facebook, Twitter, the first photos for Instagram, they need to be there. Because when you start, you have to start immediately with a big thing, and you then have to prepare the rest for the rest of the campaign. So before starting, you have to have your first level of bakers. So we said family, friends, etc. They can account for a lot of money, but those people are not people who are you going to send an email through MailChimp, because they maybe will sound quite offended if you do that, because those are the people who are very close to you. So possibly you have to contact every single person, both before and at the launch. And here the message is, do you want to back me if they say yes, if you do it on the first day. Don't wait. Do it on the first day because it will help me get to my objective. So please do it because it's helpful for me to arrive to the end. This will help you getting other people, and this will help you reaching all the other communities because you already have a specific number of people sustaining you. The second level are the people you might reach through social media, that through your first level of bakers, they can reach, they can say to the others, listen, my friend, I backed my friend, why don't you? I think it would be nice for you as well. Sometimes you want to organize event, competition on social media, maybe by saying, hey, look, I really need 3 more bakers, and I arrived to my 60% of my objective. Who's the one who's want to help me? Please, I will give you a new pen for that, stupid things, or I will acknowledge you on all my social media, etc. Sometimes you want also to host some presentation of the project, or you are presenting your project somewhere else. Let's say you're participating to competitions or workshops or seminars, and be sure that you're doing during this campaign so that you can say at the end, anyhow, you can support me by backing me on this platform through my project, blah, 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 blah. The third level, so it's usually not necessary to reach your goal, but if they can help you to arrive to the sky. In this case, it's helpful if you are on media, maybe local media. It's helpful if your campaign is successful and you reach, for example, the newsletter level of one specific portal, because the most successful campaign can be portrayed in their newsletters that they are sending to their bakers. And usually when you're on the newsletter, the people who are receiving the newsletter are active bakers. So if they see you there, it's possible that they see you, and it's possible that they back you. So trying to be on forum, blogs, trying to go anywhere. So not everybody need that, but sometimes we need that to overcome our own objective. The news needs to be not always talking about your project presentation, but maybe you want to say how the progress are going, or maybe you want to thank all the bakers, saying thank you, we're out to 30%, 50%, 100, 200, whatever. You want to maybe to share the behind the scenes, what's happening. Rewards delivery. I'm accelerating a bit because otherwise I'm going out of my time, sorry. Rewards delivery. In this case, be careful on saying the truth. So at the very beginning, these people back you on a crowdfunding portal. They know the story. They know how it goes. They know that it might take you 6 months to do it. They're ready to wait. But don't say 2 months and then they become 6, because that's worse. So it's better that you say 6 and then it's 6-ish, but then very short amount of time, and then you keep on delaying and delaying and delaying, because it might get annoying for those people. In any case, those contacts will build your own contact list. So be careful on having all the on keeping those databases, because these people are the ones who believed you when you were nobody. They believed in you when your product was not even in the stores. So possibly those are the people you have to nurture for your entire life, the entire life of your company. Almost to the end. So some campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns, go from crowd to crowd. So you do a little crowdfunding campaign. Then with the mailing list that you get there, you start a second crowdfunding campaign, and in this case, you can get much more money. In some cases, you can go from crowdfunding and you're being very successful that some of these portals have their own marketplace. For example, in Indiegogo, there is the marketplace where you are invited if you sell very well, if your project is going very well in crowdfunding. So it's interesting to go there, because in that case, you don't have any objective, you just sell things. Or in some cases, you can go from crowdfunding to reward-based crowdfunding to equity crowdfunding. So you then need partner to expand in a more substantial way. Do you buy any? Do you have any questions? I'm finished. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer. Is there somebody there?
Don't have any questions.
Thank you for presenting. Oh, go on.
Okay, we have one raised hand. So the question, yes, the slide, the presentation and the recording will be available later on, so we'll share it with you. We have a raised hand from Stefan Garti. So Stefan, I'll unmute you. Ask a question.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can.
All right. So, reading on some advices for a crowdfunding campaign, I stumbled upon this nice approach to organize events on your own. And yeah, have you had experience of examples of that, and what are good advices when doing that, not to throw money out, you know?
Usually, when you mean organizing an event, trying to gather people who would like to back you in this campaign,
yeah.
Right?
For example, doing a demonstration in one place and having an event that is around your crowdfunding campaign and invite people in.
In that case, one of the biggest advice I'm happy to give is to have a computer there logged in your page, and if people are really interested, say, why don't you back me now?
Yeah. Okay, so.
Because this is quite, I mean, maybe maybe they're very so focused in you and they will never forget, but most of the time the best moment is that moment. So where they're already into that and they would like to say, okay, I'll join immediately, let's do it, no problem. So yeah. I either like that, or I don't know, if they want to say, okay, it's too complicated for me to go on a platform, but can I contribute and you do this yourself? Yes, no problem, mister. I'll give you a receipt and I'll upload myself with your name, your money there. So it's quite important to arrive to this point, and then of course it's a normal event, I think, where you have to present what you're doing. You have to showcase the thing, something to eat and something to drink. The more they drink, the more they spend usually.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had one more question on the questions pane. It's from Franco Bercella. Is there a minimum number in the community to start a campaign?
Usually it needs to be, okay, if you have a very, very small number of followers, at least the members of the project need to have a lot of followers. I mean, we tend to say that the backers are 1 out of 250, 1 out of 300. So do your math. So if you have less than 3,000, you have 10 people backing you possibly. So it needs to be the more the merrier, but less than 3,000, it's quite hard. But the other thing you can do is to spare some money, to have some money, to spare some money and do some campaigns on social media buy followers as well. It's not only organically grow them, but also think about, I mean, you have to think about that you have to have a budget, because this is communication. So you have to have a budget to be there, you have to have a budget to sustain your campaign through events, and also through specific communication on social media. The more you have those funds, the easier it is for you to reach that goal and overcome it.
Thank you. We had a question, a raised hand from Marie Loney, if you want to ask your question.
Well, yeah, I was quite interested in the rewards and the products that you would give to people. So, for instance, if you're doing some sort of thing to do with fashion, then it's quite easy for a product that you've got. But say you're doing something that's, you know, for instance, like, this is right off the top of my head. So say it's like a space age jacket and it's got all these things going on in it. What kind of rewards are associated to that? Because I'm thinking, okay, without doing something that's, you know, totally different, I'm not quite there in what kind of reward I could actually offer someone.
Okay, of course, the more specific is the example. So if it's if I know your project, it's better because it's easier. But then it's, I mean, if it's this is a jacket or something like that, maybe you want to give, I don't know, a key holder with a little bit of the fabric used for the jacket, I'm thinking.
Right.
Right. Or you want to have these people mentioned for a little amount, of course, mentioned in your website or in a video that you're doing, to thank all of these people, to say, okay, with this little amount you will arrive to this kind of thing. So because or maybe you're going to simply do a very normal and plain T-shirt just with the logo of this jacket, saying,
right,
okay, this is not my product, it's not what I'm doing, but if you cannot give me 299, 399, which I understand, at least contribute here and spread the word about me wearing my logo T-shirt.
So it's almost like merchandising in the promotional kind of sense. Right, exactly. So for entertainment or whatever, the same sort of thing. So it could be a cap, it could be whatever. Okay.
Logo or something like that. The more they are closer to what you're doing, okay,
the better. Yeah. So what about? I was interested. You started to talk about the funding for that and how you should, you know, put your funding together, etc. The kind of money. It's like, okay, so say you think you're going to need, say, £5,000 for the campaign. That's that's the merchandise, that's everything until the end. Would you actually cost that in the crowdfunding as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give the word now to another, because we had some other questions and we were running out of time. So Carlos Gonçalves had a question about the best time of the year to launch a campaign.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Yeah, the question is really, there's any time of the year that should fit better for a crowdfunding campaign, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, I don't know. Would you advise something about?
Those type of the year are quite effective, because people are looking for gifts in a way, but on the other hand, they are also quite crowded. So sometimes if you find the right balance between a lot of people looking for new products and a specific date, I don't know, maybe some of your projects are more related to Valentine's or to other moments, I wouldn't go for super summer. I wouldn't go for August, because usually it's not a moment where you, but then you have many moments, back to school, or you have some specific holidays in your country, Portugal, is it?
Yes.
Where you want to to be in there, or some fairs that are going on. In that case, the phasing can be useful. Yes, in any case, there is a huge increase in crowdfunding during Christmas period and a little bit before.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, thank you. We had one more raised hand. Khalid Soysal, you also have a question?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I had a follow-up on the question that was about rewards. What do you think of digital rewards for the $5, $10 tiers? Because when I'm thinking about sending a physical good for $5, it's a lot of shipping, especially if you're doing the thing in, I mean, we are from Turkey, I'm living in Netherlands, but we're going to be doing the campaign in the US. So it's going to cost a lot of shipping. Do you think digital rewards are possible, and do you have any good examples? Because we couldn't find one.
Okay. It really depends on the project. Okay.
Our project is a wearable device, a fashionable wearable device that is going to be sold for $125 or so.
Okay. So sometimes people, for example, decide to put a thank you on their website. So okay. Really simply, thank you on the website. So this project has been possible thanks to those kind of people. So this, I think, it's a beginning. Or if let's think about a digital, or if they want to share the image of this person on their Instagram profile. I mean, I don't expect anything for $5, basically. Okay. Customer, as a contributor, I'm doing it because I fancy it. I don't have a lot of money. $5 is easy, and I like your idea. I'm not even going into many details. Then when it's 125, I'm starting thinking, no. So I said, but $5, I'm not thinking. Even if you just write me an email and you say thank you very much, it's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think we have one more raised hand from Stéphane Garty. Stéphane, you still have a question?
No, sorry, my hand was.
Oh, okay, sorry, apologies. I think we have no more questions, and we're about the end of the hour, so I think we'll call it here. Stavri, don't know if you have anything in terms of parting words.
I have just to say.
I would like to thank first Sylvia for the great presentation. Thank you very much. Sylvia is one of our Where Sustain mentors. You can find information about her also on the Where Sustain network, and on the screen you see her contact, so you can contact her if you have any further questions, and you can write also to info@wheresustain.eu. This is the way to reach the whole consortium. And Sylvia, if you want to say a few final words, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, all of you, for this opportunity. It was very nice to participate and to listen to all of your questions. If you also have a need of a more structured advice, you can also think about having a last-minute commenter. I can help you with that, or we can discuss later in another way. Okay.
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be ending the webinar now. Thank you.